All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. The NFL schedule has been released. The New York Jets schedule has been released. I'm looking at it right here. Man, there's a lot. There is a lot of things to talk about. There's a lot that I really love about this schedule. I mean, man, there's so many things I love about this schedule. But there's also some things I absolutely despise about this schedule. Man, looking at it for the first time, let's just break it down, right? So I guess the first thing that I just love is the start. I think the first half, even leaking over into like the 2/3 part of the season, is awesome when you look at who we play, right? Let's just quickly break down who we play. Week 1, Monday Night Football at San Francisco 49ers. We knew this one was coming. But Week 2, at Tennessee Titans. Week 3, home against the Pats, Thursday Night Football. Week 4, home against Denver. Week 5, London game against the Minnesota Vikings. Week 6, Bills at home, Monday Night Football. Week 7, at Pittsburgh, Sunday Night Football. Week 8, at New England. Week 9, Thursday Night Football against Houston. Week 10 at Arizona. Week 11, Sunday Night Football, Indianapolis Colts at home. Week 12 bye. Where are we at? Week 13, home against the Seattle Seahawks. Week 14 at Miami. Week 15 at Jacksonville. Week 16, home against the Rams. Week 17 at Bills. Week 18, home against the Dolphins. So again, for me, I love the way that the opponents are distributed throughout this schedule. I love when we're playing these teams, if that makes sense. Let's go through them, right? So week 1, this is a game that we knew going into tonight at San Francisco on Monday Night Football. I don't really love the primetime aspect of that, but I will say, if you look at the Jets' opponents, we have 2 cross-country West Coast trips. Cardinals, Niners, we're knocking one out early. Why is it important that we get it in week 1? Because the organization can do things to help mitigate the jet lag. You can get out there early. And, you know, at the end of the day, it is going to be a tough game. The 49ers, I would say, first of all, they're one of the best teams in football. But, I mean, between them and the Bills, it's probably going to be the hardest or the best team that the Jets play all year. And we're seeing them in week 1. So you're knocking out a West Coast trip. You are seeing how you stack up against literally one of, if not the best team in football. I would probably say the best team in the NFC. Depends how you feel about, you know, the Eagles. But anyway, you got the 49ers in week 1, and then after it's at Tennessee. So you're starting the season off with 2 road games. And in my opinion, the Jets are a better team than the Titans. Although I do really like some of these moves that the Titans are making. They are not rebuilding. They are clearly reloading. So I think that game is going to be a little tougher. I think Tennessee could surprise some people with their end-of-the-year record. But again, I feel like the Jets are a better team. If we can start off the season splitting 1-1 with what would be 8 home games, we would have every single home game left in the year and 7 road games, and one of which is a London game. You're not even getting the home field advantage for the Vikings. You're in a pretty favorable spot with the best team that, again, rough projections here. On paper, the best team that you play is already done with. So right out of the gate, through 2 weeks of the NFL season, I like our chances to be 1-1. And then here's where it gets super, super exciting. Week 3, New England Patriots, in my opinion, that's a win. I don't see Gerard Mayo, rookie head coach, defensive mind, Jacoby Brissett, lack of offensive line talent, lack of wide receiver talent. That Patriots offense going up against the Jets defense is way, in my opinion, it's just too much. I think the Jets will sweep New England this season. Unfortunately, it's on Thursday Night Football, so 2 primetime games in the first 3 weeks of the season, which is a bit crazy. And we're going to talk about that in a second. But, I mean, man, you get Tennessee, New England, Denver, Vikings. I mean, think about that. J.J. McCarthy or Sam Darnold going up against this defense. I like our chances. Bills in week 6, tough matchup. That'll be must-watch TV, even if you're not a Bills or Jets fan. You get the Steelers in week 7. I think the Steelers are a sneaky team to watch this season to potentially win the AFC North. Comes down to quarterback play, in my opinion. Week 8, Patriots again. So let's just take the first 8 weeks of this schedule. Let's say we split early, right? Let's just, worst case scenario. We lose to San Francisco, we lose to the Bills, we lose to the Steelers. We're 5-3. Let's say we win one of those games that we're on paper expected to lose. We're 6-2 through 8 weeks of the NFL season. Let's look at the next block of games. This is another huge aspect about this Jets schedule, which I absolutely love. Week 9, home against Texans. Week 10, West Coast trip, Arizona Cardinals. Week 11, home against the Colts. Week 12, bye. Week 13, home against the Seahawks. That little stretch there, to me, is really nice. Think about how many home games we have in, let's see, 5 weeks, right? We got home against the Texans, at Arizona, one of the, I guess, lesser teams that we play this season. All due respect to Arizona. I love Gannon. I love what they're building. Harrison, Kyler. I like a lot of their mid-round draft picks as well. But, again, I don't think the Cardinals are on the Jets level. So going to Arizona, coming back to play the Colts at home, Sunday Night Football, bye week, then another home game against the Seattle Seahawks. If you're talking about a win-now team trying to make a playoff push, I mean, man, we play a lot of teams that we should, on paper, be better than early on. And then to have this nice homestand, essentially, in like wedge right in between, potentially right around the trade deadline. I mean, that's a really good position. And then we're looking at weeks 14 through 18 here. And by the way, the reason why I keep looking down is because I'm looking at the schedule here. This is going to be tough for sure, but it's not like we didn't. It's not like we got our opponents today. We knew, who we were going to be playing. It was just a matter of when, right? So we knew we had the Rams at home. We knew we were going to have to split with the Bills. Looking at kind of the layout of these the last stretch here, I do think this is going to be the hardest part of the Jets schedule. But I will say, I'm happy that not only do we play Miami when it's cold out up north, so we do get that, that Florida trip, and it's kind of like a little bonus because we also get Jacksonville in the warmth. But then we come back week 18, close out at home against the division rival Dolphins, and the one thing that we do know about Miami, they tend to start really fast, and then as the season goes on, they seem to fall apart. So I'm happy we have like the tables turning here, and we have the warm weather Dolphins having to finish the season up in Jersey when it's going to be cold out. Who knows what that, the implications that game could have. So to round this thing out, the positives at least, I really like, again, the layout, who we play, when we play. I love this homestand in the middle of the season, and the fact that we can literally be, so let's just say, again, worst case scenario, assuming we're all healthy, we beat the teams that we're better than on paper, we lose to the teams that we are worse against on paper. We lose to Buffalo. We lose to San Francisco early on. Let's say we lose against Pittsburgh, at Pittsburgh on primetime. And then it's week 9. You get Houston, another primetime game. This is kind of, I feel like it could go 50-50. But let's just say whatever. Let's just, again, worst case scenario, we lose the game, right? We're better than Arizona. We should beat them. So 6-4. We're better than Indy. We should beat them. 7-4. Bye week. We have 2 weeks to prepare for Seattle, rookie head coach Seattle. And then Miami after that. I mean, we're going to get one against Miami, in my opinion. We could go on a nice little winning streak here. And this is assuming we lose to Houston. We would be either 8-5 or 9-4. I mean, if the Jets potentially have 9 wins after 14 weeks, sounds good. Sign me up for that. Right? That means we would have to, we could lose 2 of our next 2 and still get 11 wins. If we go 1-3, we fall apart. Saleh's Jets teams have a tendency to fall apart in the end of the season. Let's say we got 1 win in the last 4 weeks of the season. We still finish with 10 wins. Is that good enough for the third wild card? I don't know. In a stacked AFC, we'll see how it plays out. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely likable things about this schedule. The downside, though, there's a lot of them. First off, I mean, what's the deal with all of these primetime games? I get it from the NFL's perspective. They want to make money. They want to excite fans. The Jets have a bunch of stars all over their roster, with Aaron Rodgers coming back, of course. But, I mean, this to me is just overkill, right? I'm not one for primetime games. My favorite time slot is Sunday at 1 o'clock Eastern. If I could have that for every game, that's what I would take. I don't mind the London game. I think it's awesome for international fans to have, an opportunity to go to a, meaningful regular season game, like in a different country. That's freaking sweet, in my opinion. But I'm not a fan of Monday Night Football. I despise Thursday Night Football. Thursday Night Football, I just cringe every time I watch, because it's just like, the players don't want to be out there. The coaches have had, short... they haven't had a lot of time to practice in between the Sunday and Thursday. So you never really feel like a team is at their best on Thursday Night Football. And again, like, just with safety concerns, with the NFL adding an extra game or adding an extra week, I should say, right now we're up to 18 weeks. There's talk about adding more games. I don't know. I want to preserve the health of these players. Not saying that every Thursday night game, like, players are going to get, like, dinged up and, have season enders, but I don't know. It's just 2 NFL games in, like, a Sunday to Thursday stretch. It just doesn't feel like you're getting, in my opinion, a great product if the players don't necessarily want to be playing, and then coaches having limited time to game plan for these games. And listen, we got Monday night, Thursday night, London, Monday night, Sunday night, Thursday night, Sunday night. 7 primetime games for the New York Jets. And this is before the whole flexing situation, right? Where the NFL just decides to, like, move games in and out late into the year, depending on who's good or not. For, like, must-watch games and everything, like, they'll pull... like a standard game and throw it on Sunday Night Football, or if 2 teams aren't that great, they'll pull them off primetime. I mean, so we get 7 primetime games before the flexing schedule comes out, which of course we'll know, like, a couple weeks prior in the regular season. That's not going to come out, this week or next week. But geez, that's a lot. That's so many primetime games. Ugh. And to have, like, week 3 Thursday Night Football against a division rival, then go to London, and then to not have a bye after London, you get the Bills after London. That's strange to me. That's really, really strange. I mean, you're going to San Francisco, to Tennessee, home against New England, home against Denver. Understandable there. But again, just to go, in my opinion, like, if you're playing in London, you should get that bye week right after. But then again, like, you can make an argument. Do you want the bye in week 6? No, probably not. So that's so we're following up the London game with not only just the Bills, but another Bills primetime game, and then followed by another primetime game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then we have to go to New England. So I don't, like, again, I like the layout of teams, but I don't like how many primetime games the Jets have to play this season. Again, sign me up for the 1 o'clock every single week. And then another thing, too, that I'm noticing is 2 Thursday night games, man. We get the Thursday night in week 3 against New England, and then Thursday night, week 9 against the Texans. I don't like Thursday night football, let alone having 2 Thursday night football games. And we've seen this before. I think the Titans have had 2 Thursday night games in the past. Oh, I'm not a fan of Thursday night football. I'm not a fan of not having a bye after the Vikings game. I'm not a fan of having 7 primetime games. I mean, I guess that comes with being a good football team. People want to watch, and the NFL is trying to, at the end of the day, they're just trying to make money. But geez, that's to me kind of grueling. But I'll say this, if the Jets truly envision themselves as a Super Bowl contender, having a schedule like this should not bother them really in the slightest, right? The 7 primetime games and whatnot, like, or back-to-back primetime games even as well, like, are the, and I've seen, like, a lot of people voice their frustrations with having to play the 49ers early on in week 1 on Monday Night Football. Personally, I would rather play the 49ers in week 1 where we can kind of plan ahead for the West Coast trip, get a full offseason on who we're exactly going to be playing. This is not a team with a bunch of rookies where we just don't really know, or like a new coaching staff, we don't really know how they're going to come out. We know Kyle Shanahan football is Kyle Shanahan football. We know what to expect. We know what to expect from McCaffrey, Kittle, great football team. But we know what to expect. We know how to game plan for a team like this. So I like playing the 49ers early on. I do. I mean, I would much rather play the 49ers in San Francisco in week 1 as opposed to in week 13. That's just me though. But again, are the Niners, are the Chiefs, are the Bengals, are the, pick any good team, Ravens, Bills, are they going to be complaining about their schedule? No. So again, if the Jets seriously consider themselves as a Super Bowl contender, playing a game on Sunday night, playing a 2 Thursday night games should not derail this football team from the ultimate goal. So I'll leave it there. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Man, this is crazy. I can't believe it's finally out. Gonna do another video talking about this for sure. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Thanks so much, and as always, go Jets.